The purpose of the scavenger hunt is to get my kids just down and dirty in their textbook. I want them to flip through it and feel comfortable with it. By having them look at all the units kind of separately at the beginning is getting me to understand what their background knowledge is and what areas they're going to need more support with. For example, I know that they probably are going to feel pretty confident in the short story unit. However, the character analysis essay is going to be a little bit more difficult, and they are going to need a lot of support with that, which is what I kind of expect to be right here. This is something I always did when I was a kid. I looked through my textbook and I would look for a story that I was excited about reading, and I would probably start reading it on day one. But I wanted them to find something that they're excited about reading this year. That way, when I go through my textbook and I kind of think about replacing different ones, if I know a student is really excited about reading something, then maybe I'll allow that student that opportunity. I want them to be able to get comfortable with academic vocabulary, so that's why I'm having them find one that they don't know and then define it. The theme of our book is changes, and I was never explicit about this in the PowerPoint, and this is my chance to be explicit with it. This is their chance to kind of discover what that theme is and figure out how it goes throughout the whole book. This is kind of a trick question because all of the embedded assessments allow them to work with partners. There's always that peer review element of all of our embedded assessments, so it's kind of a trick question. The embedded assessments are graded because there's a rubric that follows each one. This is always really difficult. My students always have a hard time with that. So this is a great chance for them to kind of figure out that the rubric is already there, it's already set in stone, and Ms. Bowles is not going to trick them. How can you learn about one of the authors of this text we've read so far this year? At each different text, on each text, there's an author blurb all about the author. What is a thesis statement? They would look that up in the back, the glossary, or even the index. And this one is funny because they could look it up in the glossary or the index, or we actually, in my textbook, we have a grammar handbook that I don't generally use. I try to teach grammar in context, but it's a good resource. And then lastly, I have a spot in my classroom where I keep them, and we are allowed to have our students write in their textbooks.